I think it's about time I start talking about the indie projects I do. Sometimes I kind of forget to talk about them. In case anyone's actually watching this, my name's Luke, I'm a CS major, and I make games. I am currently working on my senior project, so I figured I'd make a video about it. You know, weeks before we turn it in. Our game is a multiplayer deck builder strategy game, and it's all in real time, all the time. So you can imagine this presents itself a lot of challenges. With developing any multiplayer game, it's like, instead of making one game, you're making two of them, and your bugs aren't consistent anymore, and everything's painful. We've been working on this game, like, really hard, all term, but what really made me want to make a video, aside from people telling me how big my mic is on Zoom calls, is our most recent issue. So, a little bit of networking background. When you have a multiplayer game, you need a way to communicate info across machines. In our case, we have a dedicated server application that talks to two clients. The whole virtual world of the game, that lives on the server. Everything you can see and touch, that's all client side. Really, your client is just listening from the server about what's happening in the game world, and then it's displaying it. To make a multiplayer game work, you need to make sure that the information is synchronized between both machines, like really synchronized. If a desync happens, it's just gonna unravel and mess up everything. So, we decided to tie our cards to zone indices, which seemed like a good idea at the time. So, in our game, you have a hand and you can draw cards into it. When you want to play a card from your hand, you have to tell the server which one you want to play. Our solution for that was to use zone indices. So, to get the server and the client to agree on which card is which, we just have our game specify cards by hand index. So if I want to play the first card in my hand, I tell the server I want to play index 0. That's because computers start at 0, but we just add 1. If I want to play the second card in my hand, I send index 1, the third one, index 2, and so on. The thing is, I have to wait for a response from the server to tell me that the request to play the card went through. What happens is I send a request to play index 1, for example, the second one. Then I send that message to the server. The server plucks 1 out of that hand and changes the remaining cards' indices to be in order. So if we start out with a hand of 4 cards, 0, 1, 2, 3, and I take out the 1th, it has to move the other 2 cards in, so it's 0, 1, 2. However, there's an issue with doing this. The sequence is, I send a request to the server removes the card I requested and fixes the indices, then sends a response. Think about it this way, what happens if you send 2 requests before you get a response back? If I have 4 cards in hand, 0, 1, 2, and 3, and I send 2 requests for 1 and 2, what do you think happens? The server gets the request to play number 1 first, plucks it out, 2 becomes 1, 3 becomes 2. Then the server gets the request for index 2, and now we're playing an entirely different card. This problem is common to the entire system of our game. Every zone works like this. It was not fun to figure this out. We brainstormed a lot of solutions, double checking indices, fixing packets afterwards, queuing requests, but they're all too late or too complicated of a change at this point. What we have to do, really, is just stop using the indices, and obviously that touches everything, so that's a huge refactor. What we decided would be the easiest to do is drop zone indices in favor of unique IDs. So instead of the server and client deciding which card is which based on where it is in my hand, they decided which card is which based on who it is. In retrospect, it sounds like it should have always worked like that. So I give my 4 cards in my hand unique IDs of 12, 24, 34, and 48. If I say I want 36 and 24, then it plucks out 24, never makes that fix indices steps, and then when I want to get the other one out, it just says, which one of you is 36? This guy. And then it can do it correctly. Trust me. So I made this one refactor today, and I've been testing it. It feels pretty good, feels pretty solid. Had a couple issues, but I smoothed them out. The change list I have right now is like 99 files. May God have mercy on whoever reviews that. Here's the game. You can play cards. Ooh, my laptop's hot. Jeez, it's hot. Let's see. Yeah, I'm making one attack. There it went. To try and make some of the bugs we were having work consistently, we have to actually add latency to the game. That was kind of cool. But that's my devlog for today. I hope I can make these a weekly thing. That would be cool. I'll try my best to keep up with it. Hopefully, you'll see me next time. 2 and 3 have to now switch to become 2 and 3. No, that's the same thing. I don't know what else to say, really.